Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning to you. Thank God this is a little bit of a shorter video. We have some royal family stuff, but not too much. It's more Harry, Meghan stuff. But there's a lot, as there usually is. So let's just jump in and cover it, shall we? Let's go. All right, really quickly, I want to thank you guys for letting me know that the dog's name was Seamus, not Seamus. And I got the score on who won, England or Wales, backwards. I think I was just so hung up on what was going on with the immigration records with Harry that I just lost it that day. But thank you guys for correcting me. All right, let's move on now to King Charles. King Charles and Highgrove are selling a luxury Mother's Day soap. It's from the Weeping Silver Lime Trees at Highgrove Gardens, and it's selling for, are you ready? £28. Oh my God. Now the shipping could put you back about £55, but I'd love to have some of that. Sticking with Charles, next month, we know that Charles and Camilla are going on a royal tour. They're going to visit the Holy See and Italy, incorporating Rome and Ravenna from April 7th through the 10th. They are hoping still to see the Pope, even though we know he's very ill with pneumonia in both lungs. Now, this program is supposed to celebrate the UK's relationship with each country, and highlights are things like going to see the Sistine Chapel, which I saw last year, gorgeous, the Colosseum, the Byron Museum, and again, they're still hoping to have an audience with the Pope if he is, well enough. Let's move on. Next up, the new Prime Minister to Canada, Mark Carney, went to Buckingham Palace. There's Johnny on the right in his outfit looking absolutely gorgeous. He went to Buckingham Palace to meet the king. This was a symbolic gesture, they're saying, of support for Canada from the king. It's being reported that the king really sought to make his commitment to Canada clear, and had it not been for his cancer diagnosis, according to the BBC, Charles was going to travel there for a visit in 2024. There was also the suggestion that once Canada's election is out of the way, a visit to Canada will be a priority where he can further demonstrate his support. Their meeting started off really funny. The Canadian Prime Minister went to the King and said that his Order of Canada pin had just broken, and the King joked around, "Do you want mine?" And then he said, "Here, come over here and sit." And they sat down, and King Charles congratulated him on becoming the new Prime Minister, ushered him to the seat, and said that perhaps hoping the broken pin was not a symbol of a Commonwealth relationship under strain. "These things are rather important," said the king. And of course, they smiled up at the cameras for pictures. And then there was a 30-minute conversation with nobody else in attendance. And afterwards, Carney went on to meet Sir Keir Starmer at Downing Street. The king, by the way, also received Carla Maria Rodriguez Mancia, who is the ambassador from Guatemala, Heron Koreman, the ambassador for Belgium, and Stephen Moniford, the High Commissioner to Malta. Next up, Prince William honored an anti-bullying campaigner who helps lead a charity that's named for Princess Diana. His name is Alex Holmes. He received his OBE from William, the Prince of Wales, at Windsor Castle on the 18th. He is the deputy CEO of the Diana Award charity. And he also received the Queen's Young Leaders Award during a ceremony at Buckingham Palace in June of 2017. Talking about investitures, Alan Hansen was made a member of the Order of the British Empire. He's a former Liverpool and Scotland defender, and at the same investiture service as the other guy in Windsor Castle is when he received this. Another person who was made an OBE was Helen Glover, and that was for her services for rowing. This investiture service is the 7th one of the royal family in 2025. William did the 4th and the 7th. Charles held the 3rd and the 5th. And all the others were done by Princess Anne. And finally, for William, he put a moving tribute on social media to John Paddy Hemingway, the last surviving Battle of Britain pilot who passed away at the age of 105. He was one of the band of brothers who stood between Britain and the enemy invasion from Germany. Winston Churchill called it their finest hour. He retired from the Royal Air Force in 1974, serving throughout the Second World War from first day to last, and he passed away in a care home in Dublin. Let's move on now to Princess Anne. As patron of Save the Children UK, she attended the 30th anniversary of the International Financial Review Annual Awards Dinner at Grosvenor House Hotel. Let's move on to Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. He was given a tour of a college for children with special educational needs and disabilities. It's called Derwent College, and he was shown all around, and also a look at the area that was dedicated to the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. Edward met Meryl Green, the CEO and principal of Derwent College, and he also was greeted by some of the local dignitaries, the deputy mayor, a counselor, people that were around. Now, the next thing that happened was he was introduced to a rowing simulator and an area where students prepare for the Duke of Edinburgh Award adventures. This canoe simulator was demonstrated for him, by the way. I think that's one of the cool things. The UK always seems to have such interesting things that the United States just doesn't have. Anyway, when it was over, when he was done there going through the school, of course he unveiled a fabulous plaque, and then he did an impromptu walkabout because there was an amazing amount of people standing around waiting to meet him. After a private lunch at the college, Edward headed to Park Hill Stadium, where he took a tour of training facilities. He was shown some of the youth football programs that have been created, and he also learned about the TNS Foundation. He met Craig Harrison, the manager of the New Saints, and he brought with him the Welsh League Trophy and Cup. It was after that, I believe, that Edward then went to a local community kitchen to see how they collect surplus food and turn it into meals for the local community. He also met volunteers to thank them, and he also joined some students from St. Martin's School, and then that ended up being the end of his tour of this particular place, and he left. I just love Edward, and I think he did a great job. Let's move on. Next up, Secret Weapon Sophie. On the occasion of St. Patrick's Day, the Royal Irish Regiment presented her, remember she's the Colonel-in-Chief, a shamrock at her home at Bagshot Park. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce as usual. Moving on to our Harry Meghan stuff really quickly. We have a blind item that basically says Meghan can tell everybody she has friends, but not really. All right. Next up, Meghan keeps uploading these really bizarre, weird photos on her Instagram. The last one, she's walking barefoot with some sort of onion in her hand and a watering can. It's supposed to be avant-garde. So obviously, this is such a planned picture. Somebody just happens to be above snapping the photo. She's wearing these weird high-waisted jeans. And what's worse is, this is how you know it's planned. Supposedly, she just picked those, but look at the ends of the bulbs, how clean they are. This is another set-up fake photo. Here's another picture she posted, and she put this thing underneath it. Oh, thank you to my friend from middle school and high school, and they sent you this from your alma mater. Yeah, because if you look at the top, her school posted it 5 hours before she did. Obviously, she knows somebody on the social media committee at the school. But that's not the only weird pictures. Like, what is this supposed to be? And then St. Patrick's Day came. And it was obvious Meghan was trying to elevate it, but it didn't work, deaf. She was so tone deaf, then rather than just mark the event with traditional stuff, she decided to whip up a batch of American-style breakfast waffles that were colored radioactive green for the family. And then she put these berries on and she put the whipped cream around the head. But there was something weird. I mean, it literally looked like a petri dish of mold topped with whipped cream. But here's what some of us noticed right off the top. First of all, she put out a video and it shows her whisking very loudly, I might add, the batter, okay? Then it shows her pouring the batter onto this waffle maker. Pay close attention to the waffle maker. You see how there's 4 sections with lines in the middle? You guys see that? Then, of course, we see a few hands of the children. That was her idea of sweetening the pie. And then we see these waffles that she gave the kids. And people were like, she's putting sprinkles on them. People were like, really? Well, when you use the waffle maker with the spaces, that's not what the waffle looks like. So what she did was she pretended to make homemade waffles when actually she was using Lego waffles. Now, somebody said that she suggested in the post that she used 2 different waffle makers. I watched that video. No, she didn't. She most certainly did not. Page 6 reported exclusively that they have 2 different waffle makers, one for the kids and one for the adults. Come on, guys, let's be real. Meghan lies about everything, even something as trivial as a waffle. It was pointed out that the effort she puts into staging even the simplest things is impressive. So just imagine going through all of this just to fake a waffle. It's like she can't help herself. She didn't make them fresh for the kids. She used frozen waffles. This is what I think the waffles actually look like. All right, moving on. All right, let's move on now to Gwyneth Paltrow. This woman has class. Let me tell you something. I think she threw shade without anybody raising it because she says, another woman is never your competition. What is right for you will find you. Gwyneth Paltrow says she doesn't know Harry and Meghan personally, but, she's met Meghan, who seems lovely, but I don't know her at all. Maybe I'll try to get through their security detail and bring them a pie. She said that in her Vanity Fair article. She also told Vanity Fair that she's still going strong, even though her company has had layoffs. She says, we've gotten bloated. We needed to focus. We had to do a reorg. But these are people I love. And the emotional pain that I went through is different than a lot of CEOs. That's right. Another person who spoke out, but not quite so subtly, is Justine Bateman. If you guys remember in January, she slammed Harry and Meghan and their photo op after they went to the evacuation center for victims of the fire. And she said that they were no better than ambulance chasers. It was a repulsive photo op. She said they're touring the damage. Are they politicians now? They don't live there. They're tourists, disaster tourists. Justine Bateman has a blog, and basically what she said was she's sick of Harry and Meghan acting like victims since they moved to the United States. Now, the name of her blog is, quote, "The problem with Meghan Markle, it's not what she's doing, it's the victim Olympics road she took to get there." She then said that the difference between what they're doing 2 years ago and now is immense. It's 2025. No one wants to see victims anymore. No one wants to watch someone play act at something they didn't earn. Adding, she has even created the couple's own gold medal. This girl does not mince words. She said the problem with Meghan and Harry is that every opportunity that they have explored or exploited over the past few years has been due to their very aggressive Victim Olympics campaign. She's absolutely right. I mean, look what they said about Oprah. The Cut magazine, like every time they open their mouths, even on archetypes, every single time Meghan has opened her mouth, it's to slam the royal family and play victim. She's absolutely right. She's very clear to add on that she doesn't think that anyone wishes Meghan Markle ill. And of course, she has the right to release a Netflix show or a couple of podcasts, but people have the right to not go along with her narrative, her victim narrative anymore. Oh my goodness, you guys, put those comments down. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Amazon wish list, a link to my father's book, and a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.